Well, hey, it is the end of the week, and you know what that means. We're recapping the big pieces of legislation that we tracked this week. It's the legislative wrap. It's law signing season at the Idaho State House. Governor Brad Little kicked off the week, adding House Bill 7 into Idaho Code. It creates a mandatory minimum $300 fine for first-time possession of marijuana, 3 ounces or less. Minors in Idaho are exempt from the fine. The law goes into effect July 1st. Monday was an emotional day in the Idaho House. Lawmakers approved House Bill 134, a proposal that provides expanded insurance coverage of supplemental breast cancer screening technology. Bill sponsor, Representative Brooke Green, is a breast cancer survivor and is now battling it for the second time. These screenings, she says, saves lives.
This is a fiscally conservative bill. You cannot argue against the fact that catching cancer early results in a better cost to the payer than catching it at 2, 3, or 4.
Legislation now heads to a Senate committee for consideration. Wednesday hosted a controversial debate, House Bill 230. It would prohibit indecent sexual exhibitions in public places where minors might be there. Supporters of the bill cite drag shows and other performances, namely pride festivals, as events that they say have gone too far.
Those types of indecent performances would not be allowed over daytime television broadcast. And so all we're doing is applying that same standard to public parks and other places where kids might be present.
Anyone found to violate the law could be sued in civil court by the minor or their guardian. Senate State Affairs is set to pick up the bill after approval from the House. Thursday capped off a years-long effort for supporters of school choice funding. Governor Little signed House Bill 93 into law, the Idaho Parental Choice Tax Credit. Beginning in January 2026, families can apply for a $5,000 tax credit per K-12 student for expenses that could include private school or religious school tuition. Critics question if the now law checks the boxes that Governor Little laid out in his State of the State. Supporters call it a major win for Idaho education and families.
That it needed to be fair, it needed to provide accountability, responsibility, and transparency. By any definition of those 4 words, this bill does none of that. It's really a promise broken to the citizens of Idaho.
There's a lot of work to do to make sure that families are aware of this program and getting the word out about that. And so in one way, the work is just really beginning.
Thursday also hosted debate on cutting daycare regulations. Sponsors of House Bill 243 say increased flexibility will draw more people to the industry, helping Idaho's child care crisis. Critics argue it will make things worse, impacting children in a negative way.
Most other states' ratios are significantly less than Idaho's already.
Legislation passed the full House, but now heads over to the Senate for consideration. Finally, on Friday, lawmakers in the Senate State Affairs Committee took up House Bill 83, an effort to create a new set of state-level immigration laws. The bill proposes the state crime of illegal entry or illegal presence by a person. Law enforcement could only enforce the law if a person is detained or suspected of committing a separate serious crime. Critics worry the language is overly broad and promotes profiling.
They've done something criminal in the United States means you've been convicted. It doesn't mean you were suspected of something, that you've been detained or investigated because you're suspected of having done something. That's part of our constitutional rights.
Legislation was sent to the Senate floor's 14th order, a place where lawmakers as a group could make amendments. And that's a legislative wrap.